Hello guys, and welcome to our channel. This is Baby Roll. In today's video we will be talking about an update, or you can look at it as a new build for the hybrid Druid. I already made an old video for it and it was focused on damage, not overall other things, but this build gonna have a lot of functionality and a better survivability overall. It is just how I play it right now, and I'm gonna be talking about everything in details, even the advantage, disadvantage of it. But as an honorable mention, if you watched my roaming video for both power and hybrid style, I used a power build, or my power druid build. It is the same build that you already have the build for it, and you're gonna find the link in the description and even roaming videos and stuff. But I changed one thing, that I play it right now with celestial gear, so it is an honorable mention before we get into the build. So nothing changed with the build whatsoever. The power druid build is only changed in gear. Since they updated celestial gear to now have concentration and expertise, so it gives you condition duration and boon duration, so I can get everything I want, the healing, the toughness, the precision, the power, everything, and now I can get the boon duration from it, so I don't have to use diviner. And overall, the stats in Guild Wars 2, if you're going for 3 setup like Berserker, you would have the least amount of stat. If you're going for 4 gear setup, 4 stats like Trailblazer for example, or Viper, you would have even higher stat. If you're going for Celestial, everything, you would have incredibly high stats. So it is overall good. Android can benefit from healing, toughness, vitality, precision, power, ferocity, concentration, and if you're going hybrid, you can even benefit from condition and expertise, and even for power, you still have ancient seed. So it's function really well whatsoever. I like playing this way. You can go for more glassy style for higher damage obviously, but I like to play it this way. But like I said, nothing changed in it. You can check the old build video, it is work exactly the same. Now let's get right into the subject that is the main thing for this video, which is our hybrid druid. So I still use full celestial. In this setup, just like the bar, I use full celestial gear. The only druid build that I didn't like celestial on it was my main build, which I use a mix of Trailblazer and Apothecary, because I needed way more toughness. A full condition fight style need to survive a lot, but those builds I run celestial. So I'm using full celestial gear, even weapons, both longbow and staff. I'm using Kite rune, but you can feel free to change it to any rune that would give you a mix of both power and condition damage, something like Berserker rune for example. But I feel Kite is great because it's giving me almost close to 100% bleed duration, so it would affect my Entangle, Sharpened Stone and Ancient Seed from the traits, and it will focus too much on the condition damage, and I kinda like that. I know it is not that necessary for the build. So if you're gonna try anything else other than the Kite, tell me what you're gonna try in the comment and how did it feel to your gameplay. But I'm using Kite runes. So for my sigils, on longbow I use celerity, would give me 5 seconds of quickness on a 20-second cooldown every time I disable a foe. Obviously those 5 seconds are increased by almost a half from the boon duration increase, the concentration that we get from celestial gear. And that means if we use point blank shot, skill 4 on longbow, or if we are on longbow and we go to celestial avatar and use lunar impact, skill 3 will increase, will activate actually celerity's sigil. And we use strength sigil, so it can give us 10 seconds of might on critically hitting a foe with 1 second cooldown, which basically 10 stacks of might. But since we have increased more than 40%, that means we get about 14 stacks of might from this sigil, and might is really great for hybrid build since it will support our power damage and condition damage. And for our staff, it is a survival style. We use cleansing and energy, which is stable on my staff use right now on any build. So once you switch to your staff, you immediately cleanse 3 conditions and get a dodge, so you can dodge and then kite immediately. Now for the build itself, I'm running skirmishing, wellness survival and druid. Druid is stable with us. Druid clarity, celestial shadows and ancient seed, which mean we cleanse all condition once we enter celestial avatar. we get still super speed to everyone around us once we leave Celestial Avatar, and we have Ancient Seed on 10-second cooldown. Every time we hit a disabled enemy, they will get entangled basically on them. So point blank shot would trigger it, ball from iboga would trigger it, lunar impact can trigger it, anything have a CC, or even if any other ally triggered the CC or a guard on our enemy, we can trigger Ancient Seed. And I already discussed it in Entangle tips, that how you can do it on multiple opponents and stuff like that. You can check that out in the description. Wellness survival is necessary for any roaming build. Like, there is few builds that work without it, and it is completely necessary for our build for many things: cleanses, fury, axes, and a lot of stuff that you're gonna see. So for minors, we get natural vigor, which means our endurance generation is 25% faster. That means we can have more dodges, and with the staff that we have energy on, we can have even more dodges. With vigor from lightning reflexes, we can have even more dodges, and that's how it goes. And it is the main defensive source for us, is that we dodge and then we heal. And dodges are great because they give us protection. And now it's more than 2 seconds, 2 seconds and 3/4, and protections heal us and our bit, even if the bit is down, and it counts toward filling Celestial Avatar. So a dodge for you, not only to avoid attacks, it to give you protection to withstand the next attacks and to heal through fighting. Now for our choices, I go with Lesser Muddy Terrain. This trait was nerfed to even 4%, so it's not really that effective. We use Celestial Gear, we don't want that much health, and it is incredibly useful and effective with Healing Trap. And if you see my guide on skill explained for Healing Trap, which is really useful, I would advise you to watch it. I'm gonna be putting a link in the description. You would know why I think it is mandatory to use with the trap. It is even more effective to use it with the trap than any other healing skill. It will give you cripple, immobilize, and slow, so you can tank and withstand in the trap itself. You can kite, and people would be crippled if they're following you, or immobilized immediately if they were behind you. It is just good overall, and it's extra condition cleanse and fury. Now for the second choice, you can go with either ambidexterity or you can go with Refined Toxin. I go with Refined Toxin for extra condition source, so I would force more cleanses out of people, and poison, which basically is the only source for poison unless our elite to the people around us from the rune, because Cryte Rune would trigger poison, bleed, and torment, 1 stack on everyone around us. So I find it good to have poison from me and my bit, as long as my health is above 75%, and that's gonna happen for the most of the fight. But you can go with ambidexterity to have more condition damage overall. The last one is obviously, without a doubt, Wellness Knowledge, which means we lower the cooldown on every survival skill, which basically all of our skill, especially that we have the option to go Stroll Engwent, and we make them all cleanse condition, and we get fury through them to increase our critical chance. If you notice, our critical chance is basically 35, but if we trigger any skill of the survival, it is now 55. Now for skirmishing. Every time we weapon swap, we trigger those 2 traits, Tailwind and Ferocious Grip, which basically swiftness, a lot of swiftness, that more than the cooldown of the weapon swap itself, which mean on a 9-second cooldown we get more than 12-second swiftness, and with 2 sources of super speed, which is Celestial Avatar, leaving Celestial Avatar, and Quickening Zephyr, mobility will never be an issue, especially with you having the staff too. And even more fury, a lot more fury from this trait, which is incredibly useful. And the last one is, if we are flanking, we are having increased 10% damage, and we're using power style, so it is really good, and 10% critical chance. So if we are flanking, this is not 35, this is 45, and with fury it is 65. Flanking is basically, imagine the way I move my cursor here, 45 angle in front of any character. If you hit it from anywhere besides those 45 angle, you are flanking. So it means trait like this would be triggered. For our choices, if you're going with Trap, you would obviously go with Trapper Expertise to increase the duration of regeneration, to lower the duration of the cooldown. It is without a doubt the best option. But if you run Troll Engwent, like you're fighting against a lot of power, or if you don't like to play with Trap in general or whatever, you still have a lot of condition cleanse anyway, you can go with either more vigor, even so the skill already give you a lot of it, and now not only you have more vigor, you would have an extra source, so it is good. But you can also go sharpened edges. Even so it do incredibly little damage, it is still effective. It is basically about 90 bleed per second every time you trigger it. And for you, it will not trigger a third of your hits because it trigger on critical hits. So it basically will trigger about like 20-25% of your hits. It is still good. It's still more damage since you don't have this much damage focused either ways. So you can go for it if you find vigor not that necessary and you already have enough dodges. But you know the rule, you can't have enough dodges, so it is up to you. But most of the time I would run it only with trap, so I run Trapper Expertise. For the second choice, we go with Hidden Barbs to increase our bleed damage by 33%, which without a doubt, there is no discussion about this skill. Bleed is half of our damage, if not even more, so that's why we run it. And for the last thing, you have choice either to run Quick Draw or Vicious Quarry. Vicious Quarry would give you 10% increased critical chance on your Fury, and would give you even more Fury access. Every 2 seconds you would gain 5 seconds of Fury, more than that, if you're below 75% health. So across the fight it will be happening. So Fury already almost permanent, and now you would have more. You would have even increased critical chances, and you would have more Frosty, 250 Ferocity under the effect of Fury. So look, once I trigger Fury, how my Precision and Frosty will change. So it increases your damage. But Quick Draw can even increase your damage further. That's why I run it exclusively with Quick Draw. Sometimes I use Vicious Quarry, but most of the time this is how I run the build. I don't change it. The thing is, how Quick Draw work, it's basically anything would change this bar count as a weapon swap. And anytime this bar change, Quick Draw inside a combat, Quick Draw will be triggered. So as long as the effect of Quick Draw on you, the second skill from a weapon you will use unless it's an auto attack, so only those 4 skills count, will be only on a third cooldown. It will go lower by 66% cooldown. That can be used with incredible efficiency for survivability and for damage. So let me show you an example for damage. Let's say we're hitting this enemy, so once I goes the other weapon set, I trigger Barrage, for example. Barrage now going only on 6 second cooldown. If I trigger something like Ancient Seed on everyone, so they can't run now, guess what? Now I can trigger Barrage again, and they can't even get out of it. And that's more damage. It can work the same for Rapid Fire, and those 2 skills have to be hit immediately. But once you do it, you can do it again. And it can be used the same with survivability. Let's say I'm trying to kite, so I switch staff for staff, I go like that, and I switch bit, and it only on a second cooldown, like about second and a half. Because this skill, once it's heal an ally like this, it lose 5 seconds of its cooldown immediately, and our bit count as an ally. So if I switch my bit at the end of it, it will trigger this effect with Quick Draw. So it will remove the 5 seconds and then also remove the 60%, so I only have 1 second extra, and I can immediately kite again. You can also use it with the reflective field, which will make it go on an 8 second cooldown only, so it is incredibly efficient. You can use it on the knockback, for example, to go on only 5 second cooldown. You can use it on the stealth, to stealth again if you're just trying to kite, or in your position you're still trying to assist. You can use it on Celestia Avatar, it would still work on Celestia Avatar. And there is multiple types of tricks that can be incredibly efficient with Celestia Avatar. It either use skill 2 for more cleansing, if you're trying to help people to cleanse a lot of conditions, if they've been bombarded with it and you're helping your people, or you can use it for skill 3 to trigger high heal and double days are around each other, and you can use it with skill 5 in Celestia Avatar to trigger the immobilize and the bar damage, and then use it again once you just keep cleansing or dazing. So it would work on anything. So it works with every weapon setup you have, with the longbow, with the staff, with the Celestia Avatar. It is just very, very useful. One thing I like this build for, and why I keep it as one of my main builds, I keep it on an equipment template, see how effective it is with zergs. If you're trying to push people, if you're trying to control walls, or hit through it, either you defend in a place or hitting the people who defend in a place. Because barrage doesn't really require line of sight, so you can hit it anywhere like that. Simple. So let's say people have siege here, like the place these people stand. So I would hit it like that. I would go to Celestial Avatar, hit skill 3 on this area. The people who got dazed will be hit by barrage and trigger Ancient Seed in every one of them. Would be trigger Sharpened Stone, and I can even use Entangle to trigger it on them. And now they have double Entangle on them, Sharpened Stone, and got hit by that. And if it was used with Quick Draw, I can even do it again, simply like that. So it is really efficient to do that, to kill siege, to fight people, and have a lot of escape potential, a lot of healing. In some situation it can surpass my main droid in survivability or effectiveness, and in a lot of other situation it's not as effective. So get us to the downside is, against really tanky or support classes, this build doesn't feel this enjoyable. It can survive most, if not all, encounters with 1v1, where it's really shine. It can help people effectively in a way, but if you're fighting something like a support firebrand or a celestial firebrand, for example, which have a lot of protection duration and a lot of resolution duration, so basically it dumbed down both your damage sources. It have a lot of blocks, a lot of reflects. It can bombard you with both condition and power the way you do, but you can't reduce the damage of them. You basically have access, barely have access to protection, for example. So you're not gonna lose, you just keep kiting around them because you have better kiting potential, and a fight like this would be locked. So it has those situations, for example, but it doesn't, for example, suffer this way against the Dragon Hunter most of the time. Unlike the Celestial Dragon Hunter can be annoying to my main droid, since they have insane amount of cleanses. They use Burgeoning Flame most of the time for their builds, and they cleanse on blocks and stuff, so they have insane amount of cleanses. You can just kill them with condition while surviving at the same time, so you end up hitting stalemate. Any good build with really high survivability can hit stalemate somehow. So I don't think this is a really main or a big problem with the build. This build is really nice and a refreshing playstyle to have, and if you're main ranger like me, you would keep it at least just for fighting on walls or with small groups or stuff like that. Now let's talk about our skills. We already told you that healing skills are optional. You can go through Ingot or Healing Spring, or depending on the situation, if you're fighting exclusively power, you don't need that much condition cleanse or that lower healing at this point from Healing Spring, so most of the time it goes through Ingot and vice versa. The other skills, however, I go with Lightning Reflexes, Sharpened Stone, and Entangle as no change. So Lightning Reflexes is the shortest cooldown stun break, giving you dodge, it break immobilize, it will help you against other rangers entangle, it giving you huge source of vigor, it is the only source of vigor if you run in trap, so even more dodges, it is overall great, and still giving you fury and condition cleanse. So if you immobilize, it will remove the immobilize first and then condition cleanse two others. Sharpened Stone is a condition cleanse that can be used even while stunned. It is a main source for your damage, it cannot be changed, it's only on 24-second cooldown. Entangle is a way to control, immobilize, and put damage and lock people through your damage through barrage or even the lightning field from Jacaranda, easily without the need for Sharpened Stone or for the need to CC them. It can even go through block or stability, so it will simply lock people whenever you want to. And it is still a condition cleanse and a 48-second cooldown. You can, however, change Quickening Zephyr. I like using Quickening Zephyr or Glyph of Equality. I use both actually. So Glyph of Equality will give you more days, so if you're doing barrage, for example, and Thief trying to attack you or something like that, you simply daze them and they are locked in the barrage, eating its damage, getting Ancient Seed triggered because of the daze without the need to knock them back or get them out of your barrage, and you can just burst to their face or something, or use Sharpened Stone, or you get out if not a thief to avoid their damage if you're locking something like a warrior, for example. So it is up to you. But Quickening Zephyr also is great, giving you more super speed, 4 seconds to be able to run faster than other people, quickness for more damage, and fury and condition cleanse. It is stun break with condition cleanse, so it is still a really good choice. It is up to you whether you want to use this or this. For our bits, I use Jacaranda as a source of damage to push our damage a little bit further, and it is a tanky bit that can immobilize a single target with a root. So it is really efficient. It can cleanse and heal herself. She's just overall effective. And I use iboga to be able to pull people off walls, and it put conditions that usually I can do myself, confusion and torment. So both our bits do decent damage in a way, and it can also pull people, so trigger a CC, easy for me to trigger Ancient Seed through here, through 1200 range and immobilize target, but be careful because this skill and this skill are both projectiles. So you need to keep that in mind. Sometimes I would change iboga for Raggazal if I'm not fighting on a wall or anything, but most of the time I would just keep both because iboga's damage feel better overall in general. So that's it for the video. I hope you like it and find it useful. Try the build, give me your feedback, and I'll be seeing you next time. Peace.
Last night, maybe I can make it right. Sit down close to baby, we can talk about it. No need to be mad, hate to see you say. Yes, I know I'm crazy, crazy about you, crazy about you.
I know I'm upset sometimes, I know I get drunk some nights, I know I get way too high, I just wanna live it up with you. I know that it might be tough, I know when you've had enough, it's just how I show my love. Now you cannot live it up with you.
Last night, maybe I can make it right. Sit down close to baby, we can talk about it.
Made a mistake last night, maybe I can make it right. Sit down closer, baby, we can talk about it. No need to be mad, hate to see you sad. Guess I know I'm crazy, crazy about you, crazy about your lips. I know I'm a flirt sometimes, I know I get drunk some nights, I know I get way too high, I just wanna live it up with you. I know it might be tough, I know when you've had enough, it's just how I show my love.
but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna cry, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side. My love, you say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose.
Gave you too much, now I'm swallowed. Now I'm the fool while you're breaking rules. Dangerous path that I follow. Oh, go on, just do what you do. And it bleed for you, cry for you, oh, oh. Let me bleed. As I bleed for you, cry for you, oh, oh. Let me bleed. Let me seems to follow like a shadow, dark and cold to the touch. Am I insane not to let go? Oh, go on, just do what you do. And it